What's going on, guys? Welcome back to NolanTCG, and we are back here today for another deck profile, and this time it's for Numerons. So Numeron's quite a good deck to kind of mess around with in Master Duel, so I figured I'd bring in an IRL format list that you can kind of work on. You can choose whether or not you want to play this IRL, kind of use this list, or you can switch it over to Master Duel, change up some of the ratios, and then, yeah, go from there. Have a bit of fun. Do some OTKs, although in Master Duel at the moment it seems as though, yeah, that weird trap FTK deck running around. So yeah, good luck with that. I guess you can just play 9 cards in the extra deck and then dodge the FTK if you want to go that way. That can definitely work out for you. But yeah, we'll get into the profile for this one. But before we get started, as we start off, as always, please remember to drop down below and hit that subscribe button if you are new here, because we are always happy to have new people on the channel. And let's get on into this deck profile. Before we do get started on this one, though, it is brought to you, of course, by yourplaymat.com, who got us our beautiful NolanTCG extra deck sleeves. These are available on yourplaymat.com, as well as you can get custom sleeves and custom playmats, so whatever you need for the current format. There is an affiliate link in the description down below that does get you a little bit of a discount on your order. Also, enter the code NOLAN10YP for 10% off your order. Also kicks back a little bit to the channel, so everything will be very much appreciated. If you're shopping there, you're getting custom sleeves, custom playmats done. Make sure to enter our code at checkout. But let's get on into this deck profile. Okay, so starting us off, of course, we have our starter. So it is 3 copies of Numeron Wall. Essentially is everything you need. Weirdly, remember, this is also Battle Fader, so you can kind of stay alive for a little bit longer if you don't get to your full combo. Then we have, after that, our Terraformings, which is 3 copies of Planet Pathfinder. Of course, gets itself off the board, you get the field spell. Always good. Then we have some removal for our opponent's cards, and that means a bunch of Kaijus. We've got 1 big Kaiju in the Jizakuru, then we've got 2 kind of medium ones, and then we've got the other in the Gadala, so we've got 2 Radiants and the 1 Gadala. And then we have 2 Kumamongas after that. You can change up your ratios for the Kaijus as to whatever you'd like. I just like kind of playing a little bit here and there. Also, I couldn't find my Gamma Seals, so we're on this list. Then we go into our hand traps, going for something that can kind of be a big powerful card, but also kind of work on our turn. It is our 3 copies of Cyframe Gear Gamma, along with the 1 copy of Driver. Of course, you can get these off the board at the end of your turn, so it doesn't conflict with your field spell. And then we have 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring coming through after that. Of course, just kind of generic, stops everything at the moment. Good card. Always good card. That is it for our monster lineup. So now we get into our spells. So we do have our 3 copies of Numeron Network. Of course, pretty obvious. The card that kind of resolves your entire OTK. 1 copy of Terraforming after that. Of course, it's just another copy of Numeron Network. 2 copies of Numeron Calling. Given now that you don't really need to play Desires in this list, or you can't really play Desires in this deck because there's only 1 of them. It's not worth playing the 3 Numeron Callings anymore. You'd much rather just go to the 2 Numeron Calling, as you don't need the 3 in case you get them banished. I did, however, want to play a draw spell. I could not make up my mind on what the draw spell should have been, whether or not I change up my extra deck ratio and play Extravagance. Given that that actually is now a common in the new structure deck, that will be quite budget, so if you're looking for a budget option, that could definitely be the way to go. Ultimately, I've settled on Memories of Hope. I personally feel as though this is a win more card, given that you've already resolved the summons and you're not trying to clear board at that point, but who knows, maybe there is still something on the board that is going to give you problems. And your Memories of Hope will hopefully then draw you into something that gets rid of that problem and allows you to just go through with your OTK. Then after that, we have a few board clear / negation cards. First off, we have 3 copies of Regeki. Yes, this is at 3 now, so we blow up the opponent's board and we start swinging. Then we have 3 copies of Forbidden Droplets for our mass negation. And then 3 copies of Lightning Storm for blowing up the opponent's board, going front row or back row. Monsters or spells and traps. Just kind of deals with a lot of those problems. Then we have, I guess, more combo cards. It is 1 copy of 1 for 1, just to get you out your Numeron Wall from the deck. 1 copy of Called by the Grave. Gets rid of those hand traps that try and hit you like Ogre. Hurts quite a lot in this deck. And then lastly, 1 copy of Harpy's Feather Duster. Another mass removal card that just takes care of a lot of back row. Okay, next off we have our extra deck, and the extra deck can flux a little bit here. Something I've chosen not to play is the Numeronius build. You would have noticed that from the main deck that I don't have the Numeronius spell in there. That is something you can mess around with, as this is quite a funny, like, cheese way to kind of play. So yeah, definitely check that out if you do want to kind of mess around and have a bit of fun with this. But for the extra deck starting us off, I do have the 1 copy of number C1 Numeron Gate Chaos Sunya. You do not need to play this in this version of the deck. It's just kind of in here as like an extra tech that you can kind of run into. Then we go into our Numerons. Like I mentioned in the deck profile, if you are playing Extravagance, bump these up to 3 and then just kind of run through from there. You shouldn't run into the situation where you banish all of each of them, or at least all of one. It can come up, but if it does come up, it's okay. You still got the other 3. You can hopefully still mess around with those. So we are playing a 2-2-2-2 ratio. So we're playing 2 copies of number 1. Then we've got 2 copies of number 2, Gate Dive. 2 copies of number 3, Gate Trini. And then 3 copies of number 4, Gate Kachvari. And that is it for our Numeron cards. So yeah, you can play Numeronius if you want. Just find the Wonder space for the card in the main deck, and then you can kind of add those into the extra deck. Yeah. Then we go into the rest of our extra deck. So we have still one more Xyz. It's Utopic Draco Future. I've made the mistake of forgotten to put the other one in here. Oh, I'll play the other card. So let's go. You do need to play the other Utopia card. I've completely forgotten to put that in here. I was like, what is the 15th card in this deck? It's that. So you play both of the 2 F-Zeros. So you got F-Zero Utopic Future and Utopic Draco Future. Then we go into the rest of our extra deck. So this is our links and our synchros. So we've got 1 copy of Sayusha Skulldread, 1 copy of Appaloosa Bow of the Goddess, and 1 copy of Mech Knight Crusadia Avramax. So of course you've got your Sayusha. If you want to draw into a bunch of cards, this is what you make as your 1 extra summon. Say your opponent you can't kill your opponent or something comes up. Just slap into a Sayusha, draw a bunch of cards. If you draw Memories of Hope, draw a bunch more cards, and then hopefully your opponent is not going to be playing. And then we have, after that, 1 copy of Cypher Emulator Omega. This is for getting your Gamma off board, although I just realized I didn't explain the other 2 links. So we've got the 1 copy of Appaloosa Bow of the Goddess, of course, gives you the negations when you're going first. Slap 4 on board, turn into an Appaloosa. Hopefully your opponent can't play through that. And the 1 Avramax, because a lot of decks can't really play around that Avramax, so making 1 Avramax and just staring them in the face can end up being quite good. And then, of course, we have the 1 Omega, so if at the start of your turn you get hit with some kind of hand trap, you can Gamma it, go into the Omega, get that off the board, slap down your field spell. Good times. But that does wrap us up here for the deck profile for this one. So as always, if you do have any recommendations or things you would change, do make sure to comment them down below. Like I said before, this is probably a really fun deck to mess around with in Master Duel, so do check it out. In IRL format though, it can also cheese a lot of games. It's a super simple OTK deck. I keep wanting to say FTK. Super simple OTK deck, so check it out. If you just want something you can break your opponent's board apart, you can go ahead, play it. Droplets and stuff isn't 100% necessary for the deck. If you are looking for more budget options, you can play other cards. Stuff like Regeki is relatively cheap though. Lightning Storm can be expensive, but Regeki's a solid replacement for it if you do want to just cut that and play other board breaking cards. Dark Hole can always be something you look at as well. But as always, I've been Ben from NolanTCG, and have a good afternoon, everybody.